Before I begin, let me ask you something. Have you ever stood at the entrance of a place you knew you shouldn't enter? A place that didn't feel abandoned, just waiting? This is not just a story, it's a warning. Because once you hear what happened to four friends deep in the hills of Wren Hollow, you'll never look at tunnels the same way again. This is the true account of the Forgotten Tunnel. Ayan, Harris, Zishan, and Alina. Friends since childhood. The kind of bond that feels too deep to fade. But time doesn't care about friendships. In 2 weeks, they'd all be going their separate ways. Ayan to an engineering school in Canada, Harris joining the Air Force, Zishan staying home to care for his father, Alina, the artist, moving to Lahore to chase her dream of painting galleries. So they planned one final trip. No phones, no distractions, just nature and memories. Wren Hollow was a strange pick, an off-grid mountain town with barely 300 people, tucked between forgotten railway tracks and endless forests. But it had something none of them could resist, an unsolved legend. They'd heard about Tunnel 47 from a forgotten blog, buried on the 5th page of Google. No tourist guides, no pictures, just a single sentence. Tunnel 47 was sealed in 1987. No official record exists. Locals never speak of it. And that, of course, made it irresistible. Would people are afraid to even mention? They arrived on a Tuesday. The sky was clear, the roads empty. The town had one general store, a gas pump, and a cafe run by an old man named Malik. Inside, while sipping tea, Alina asked, "Do you know where Tunnel 47 is?" Malik paused. The room went silent. Even the ceiling fan creaked to a stop. "You came here for that?" he said without blinking. Harris laughed. "We're just exploring. Is it haunted or something?" Malik looked at them, each of them, like he was memorizing their faces. "You see those hills?" he said. "They're older than memory. And some doors, when sealed, are meant to stay that way." Ayan leaned in. "You know where it is, don't you?" The old man didn't answer. He just got up and walked away. A minute later, their bill came, paid in full. They hadn't paid yet. They left without finishing their tea. You should always be worried when someone gives you something for free, especially when it's silence. They camped just outside the trail leading into the woods. The air felt heavier than usual. Zishan mentioned it first. "Doesn't it feel like we're being watched?" Ayan said it was altitude. Alina didn't speak at all. At night, around the fire, they shared old stories, laughing, remembering school fights, stolen snacks, teenage heartbreaks. Then Harris suddenly asked, "You guys believe in evil?" No one answered immediately. "I mean, like real evil. Not bad people, but places, moments, that twist reality around you." Zishan replied softly, "No, but if such places exist, they probably look normal at first." None of them slept well that night. Something howled in the distance. Not an animal, not a human. Something in between. By noon the next day, the forest thickened. GPS was useless, but Ayan, using an old printed map, spotted a strange bend in the hills. No trail, no markings. They followed it. Alina was the first to see the stone. It was square, unnatural, covered in moss. They began digging. It took them an hour to clear it. A massive iron door bolted into the earth, half covered in soil. It had a symbol carved into the middle, 2 circles connected by a jagged line, like lightning. There was no handle, but near it, buried in leaves, lay a rusted crowbar. Ian forced it open with a groan of metal that echoed like thunder. And what lay beneath? The mouth of Tunnel 47. They stood at the entrance of Tunnel 47. Cold air drifted out, unnatural and damp, like the breath of something sleeping too long. Their flashlights barely lit 10 feet ahead. The walls were wet, the ceiling curved like an old ribcage. Ian looked at them one last time. We just go in a bit, then come out. It's a story to tell. Harris grinned. I vote we find treasure. Or a skeleton. They stepped in, one by one. Alina entered last. As she crossed the threshold, her flashlight flickered. She paused. The forest behind her was now silent. Not a bird, not wind, nothing. She swallowed and followed. Inside, footsteps echoed back at them from places they hadn't stepped yet. The air felt wrong. Heavy, but not with pressure, with memory. About 200 feet in, they saw something on the wall. Carvings, not graffiti, not words. Scratch marks, dozens of them, like fingernails dragged across stone. And all facing inward. Zishan touched one. His or something else? He didn't say. They found it near the wall, an old handheld tape recorder with dust inside, but batteries still intact. Ian, curious, clicked play. If you're hearing this, we made it further than the last group. My name is Sammy. I came here with my cousin back in 1998. We thought it was a joke, an urban legend. But this place? It shifts, it loops. You think you're walking forward, but you're not. Don't trust the voices. Don't follow the light. And if you see yourself, run. It waits inside us now. Then static. Then screams. Zishan looked at his watch. It had stopped. Harris checked his phone. Black screen. They'd only been inside 20 minutes. But according to Ian's compass, they were now underground. About 110 meters deeper than possible. How? Alina whispered. We never went down. No one answered. The tape recorder kept playing by itself. They walked faster now, trying to find the exit. But something had changed. Their footsteps didn't echo anymore. The air felt stale, like inside a sealed box. The walls had moisture, but not water. It smelled metallic, like old blood. Suddenly, Harris froze. What is that? At the far end of the tunnel, light, a faint glow, like a match, flickering. It moved, closer and closer, then vanished. Alina stepped behind Zishan. I think it's watching. Watching what? She said nothing, just stared at the wall. There were new scratches, still wet. Zishan whispered. That wasn't there before. Someone, something, is down here. Ian took out his phone again. Flashlight only. No camera. No signal. Then a sound. Not footsteps. Not wind. Dragging. Something being pulled. It echoed softly. From behind them. They turned. Nothing. Then the flashlight flickered again. Once, twice, and just before total darkness, Harris screamed. They ran, as fast as the path allowed. But the tunnel wasn't straight anymore. It bent, curved, split into two. "This wasn't here," Ian yelled. They argued at the fork. Alina begged to go left. Harris said right. Zishan took charge. We stay together, left. They ran down the left path. The tunnel narrowed. They had to duck. Then the air changed. Warmer, drier, light ahead. Was it daylight? A hole. They climbed up, into the forest. Trees, sunlight. They exhaled, cheering, laughing, shaking. Until Zishan noticed something. There were no sounds, no birds, no wind, not even leaves moving. Ian looked at the trees. Their bark was gray, too gray, like stone. Then they saw it, a sign nailed to one tree. Wren Hollow, year 1974. Harris collapsed to the ground. No, 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 no. They hadn't escaped. They had exited into the past. They sat in silence. The air was warm. But there were no animals, no birds, not even bugs. The forest felt frozen. Zishan took out his notebook and jotted the date. Alina whispered, "This doesn't make sense. We didn't go down far enough to time travel." "No one said we did," Zishan replied. "We don't even know where this is." Harris, still shaking, stood up. "I don't care what year this is. I'm not going back in that tunnel. I'll find a road. I'll scream until someone hears." He walked off. The rest followed after a moment, calling his name. But he didn't answer. They walked for 10 minutes, then 20, then 40. No trail, no signs, no Harris. And then they heard it again. Dragging, soft, wet, steady. A shape moved between the trees. Pale, slow, humanoid, but wrong. Alina gasped. "That's Harris." But it wasn't. It looked like him, but wrong. His face was loose, soft, like wax under heat. It turned toward them, eyes so, and then it ran, straight at them. They turned and ran back. Only when they reached the door in the ground again did they realize it wasn't where they left it. It was new and already open. They didn't hesitate. They jumped in. This time the tunnel was narrower. They slid down into a corridor lit by soft red bulbs. Industrial, clean, like a maintenance wing. But nothing had power. No wires, no heat. Just the illusion of light. Zishan touched the wall. It was warm, pulsing, like a heartbeat. They walked forward and found the room. Square, silent. The door sealed behind them with a slam. No way out. Inside were mirrors, hundreds, lining all four walls. But each reflection was wrong. Alina's mirror showed her crying. Ian's showed him screaming. Zishan's was empty. And behind them, in every reflection, Harris, smiling, watching. Then they turned, and he was there. But not him. "You're not real," Zishan said. Suddenly, every mirror shattered. Blinding noise, screams, metal. They covered their ears. Alina collapsed. When they looked up, the room was gone. Just another tunnel. They walked in silence. No one dared speak. Alina kept glancing behind her. After 10 minutes, She said, "I hear someone calling me." Ian said, "Ignore it." She whispered, "It's my mother. She died 3 years ago." "I know," Alina said, "but she's crying." Suddenly, Alina stopped. Ian and Zishan turned. She was staring into a crack in the wall. "Ian, I see my house!" He grabbed her arm. "Alina, that's not real." Tears streamed down her face. "She's inside. She's waiting." She stepped forward. "Alina, no!" Too late. She walked into the wall, like it wasn't there. Gone, not a trace. Zishan stood frozen. Ian collapsed to his knees. "I should have stopped her." Zishan didn't respond. His face had turned pale. He looked at Ian and said, They walked in silence. No one dared speak. Alina kept glancing behind her. After 10 minutes, she said, "I hear someone calling me." Ian said, "Ignore it." She whispered, "It's my mother. She died 3 years ago." "I know," Alina said, "but she's crying." Suddenly, Alina stopped. Ian and Zishan turned. She was staring into a crack in the wall. "Ian, I see my house." He grabbed her arm. "Alina, that's not real." Tears streamed down her face. "She's inside. She's waiting." She stepped forward. "Alina, no." Too late. She walked into the wall, like it wasn't there. Gone. Not a trace. Zishan stood frozen. Ian collapsed to his knees. "I should have stopped her." Zishan didn't respond. His face had turned pale. He looked at Ian and said, "I don't think any of us are going to leave here." They found a chamber. Circular, carved with names, hundreds, all scratched in with nails. Among them, Sammy, 1998, Lena, 2005, Tariq, 1976, Alina, just added and still wet, Harris. Zishan found Ian's name already half-written. "Why is your name here?" he asked. "I don't know." They stood in the silence. Then, a voice, from above, from all around. It wasn't one voice. It was thousands, repeating a phrase. "You open the door. Now you are part of the place." Suddenly, light above, a hatch, the same hatch they had first exited from. Zishan climbed. Ian followed. They emerged into Wren Hollow. But now it was night. The town, empty. Not quiet, dead. No stars, no sound, just cold. And behind them, the tunnel door closed by itself. They walked through Wren Hollow. The buildings were intact, but wrong. Like models. Props. No insides, just shells. At the cafe, Malik's chair was still rocking, but no one in it. Zishan turned to Ian. "What if this isn't the world?" Ian said nothing. Then he noticed something. Zishan's shadow was missing. "Ian?" Zishan asked, but Ian was stepping back. "You're not him." Zishan's eyes darkened. "Neither are you." Suddenly, both heard something behind them. Footsteps. Slow, deliberate. The door to the tunnel was wide open again. Inside, 4 shadows waiting, all smiling. Only one man was found by police, walking the highway days later, drenched, barefoot, mute. He had a notebook in his hand. The last page read, "Do not enter Tunnel 47. It is not a tunnel. It is a mouth. And it remembers everyone who fed it." No one knows if it was Ian or Zishan, because fingerprints matched both. But the body temperature, too cold.